Welcome to my little mini autumn campaign down on the Park Lake. So a little backstory to why I'm doing this is because I pay relatively large amount of money for this syndicate each year, but I never really fish it. I fish it two, 3 times max. You'd have seen some of my previous Park Lake Journal videos, all of those. That's literally every time I fish. So I really don't get to fish it as much as I should. Partly due to my job and other commitments. So I thought I'd do something a little bit different, something I've never done before, that I've always wanted to do. And, you know, never really had the go in me to do it. So I've decided to, during autumn and over winter, just do Friday nights. I mean, the lake's 5 minutes down the road from me. It's only 20 minutes away from where I work. So the idea has been that I pack minimal amount of gear before I go to work on a Friday morning, and I head down to the lake as soon as I finish work at the end of the day. So I managed to get round down to here for about 4:30, 5 o'clock on a Friday evening. That gives me just enough time, get the rods out, have a look around the lake, get the rods out, fish potentially 12 hours as I have to be home by 9:15 in the morning to take my daughter to a stagecoaching classes. So yeah, about 12 hours fishing every Friday night, as much as I can. So this video is the first one, and it covers the whole of September. The whole of September and the first week in October. So this is how it's been. So the first session I did a few weeks ago now, got down, had a good time, and it was one of those warm days in September. I think it went up to about 22, 24 degrees. When I got down here, I could see that the lake was fairly busy. Yeah, most of the fishermen were tench anglers, as a lot of them. A lot of the anglers on here do tend to be tench anglers in the day. The day anglers, the syndicate members are all carp anglers, of course. Yeah, a lot of tench anglers, but I did notice a couple of lads doing some surface fishing, and it was one of the lads that I know, another lad who's a teacher that fishes down here. I went down, got my gear, I went down to him and had a chat to him. He was down in the farthest peg on this, what we call this dam wall, and he'd been fishing the whole day, and I think he'd managed to land 14 fish throughout the day between him and his mate, all off the top. He'd been moving around the lake following the fish around, and he'd ended up on this furthest peg down this bank. So after having a chat to him and actually seeing the fish there in front of me myself, but I didn't bring any surface gear, stupidly I should have, because I knew it was going to be warm. I decided that was going to be the first night on this little mini campaign. So I got my gear down there, sat and watched this lad who I know fishing for a little bit longer, seeing if he could nick another bite. Sat there and had a watch and had a chat to him, as you do. He didn't have anything else, so I managed to set myself up, and I found a nice little spot in about 4 or 5 foot of water. With the warmer weather, I wanted to go into the shallower end of the water. There's a big bowl halfway down this dam wall that I'm potentially looking at fishing down in the winter. However, I do know that there's 1 or 2 anglers that do like to do the winter on here, and those are the pegs that no doubt they'll want to fish as well. But yeah, I wanted to go into the shallower water anyway, and knowing that he'd followed the fish all the way down into that corner made me do the night down there. So yeah, found a nice little spot at 20 raps, so 80 yards out in about 5 foot of water. A spot that I've fished before in that peg, to be fair, and I had one of the old originals out of here many years ago. First light actually, that was when I caught that one as well. So I know it was a peg that I know does fish first thing in the morning, and can sometimes do fish in the evening as well. Found myself a nice little spot down on the margin to the left hand side as well, up what we call the tree line. Again, place where I'd actually caught 2 fish. The only session that I've actually done on here this year before that Friday night, I managed 2 fish first thing in the morning down there when I took my daughter with me. So yeah, I found that spot as well. I had on the left hand margin rod down the tree line, I decided to go for a Ronnie rig with a pop-up, match the hatch wafter Pacific tuna CC More Pacific tuna. That's what I'd caught those two fish on down there before. You can walk down the side and you can just catapult the boilies out to that, just sprinkling the boilies around that, so that's what I did then. And then on the spot that was 80 yards out, just a very simple bed of particle with boilie over the top of it as well. Not too many spawns, can't remember exactly how many it was, just a nice little bed of bait to try and nick 1 or 2 bites. And that was that for the night. So yeah, I think I was the only one on the lake. Actually no, I think there was one more person on the lake, pretty much completely opposite me on the other side of the lake. So a really quiet night, apart from the fact that because it's so close to a main road, there's a pub on the other side of the road, and typical my first night, there was a wedding party, so I had banging music all the way up until midnight, but never mind. But around about 9 o'clock I think it was, I actually managed to catch the first two fish within half an hour. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll pop those videos on for you now so that you can see the fish, and in those videos I'll tell you what I caught them on. So here is the first fish of my, let's call it an autumn campaign on the local park lake. Something I don't do. I don't do autumn fishing, I don't do winter fishing, but I've promised myself that this year I'm going to do as much as I can. The only problem is, these sessions, as I mentioned in the introduction, they're going to be a maximum of 12-hour sessions. Well, maybe 14-hour sessions. Just short overnight sessions straight after work on a Friday. It's mid-September now. I'm hoping to do this all the way up to and beyond Christmas. Put a couple of videos together. It's something I've never done before, so I'm going to be talking through quite a lot of the tactics that I'm basically trying out. You know, but like I say, it's something I've never done before. I'm a spring and summer fisherman, so it's something new. It's a challenge for me, but I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, first night of the autumn campaign. It's not really the weather I was expecting when I got here. It was 22 degrees. You know, it's a great start. It's only 9 o'clock in the evening of the first night. Got here 5:30. So a few hours in and I've already had a fish. So it was a great start. This lake's known for good fishing late in the evening and first thing in the morning, so there's still a good chance that I might have 1 or 2 more. This one actually came on a bed of bait. So I've got some bait left over, and it's what I'm planning on doing throughout the autumn, is putting a bit of bait out on a few spots, so that come winter I know exactly where to go without having to find anywhere. So a little wafter top with yellow, match the hatch wafter of course. It's a lively one this one is, I'm telling you. Yeah, let's get it back in the water as quick as possible. It's the second fish. Came maybe half an hour after the last one, just as I'd recast. Just setting the rod down. The other one went off. This one's a bit bigger. The last one was £20 on the nose. This one's actually 27.5. It's a lovely fish, real nice linear. Not sure that the video and the photos in the dark do it justice, but we'll give it a go. There we go. Yeah. So this one was on corn poppers. The last one I said was on a wafter, tipped with yellow. Yeah, this one come on corn poppers. I did put some sweet corn in with the mix that I put out. So I'm going to keep one on wafter. I'm going to keep the other one on corn poppers, seeing as both have actually caught a fish now. So yeah, good. Quick look at the other side of this one. It's an absolutely beautiful fish. Potentially have caught this one before, maybe. It does look familiar. Let's have a look through the photos to see if I can see. 2 fish, both 20s. One upper 20 this one. Not complaining at all. We may continue. So yeah, two really nice fish to start off this little mini campaign. Yeah, 27 and 20 pounder as well. 2 really nice fish. 27 pounder looked like it could have been a 30 pounder in the past, and it's a bit down on weight. funnily enough, I'm on my fourth trip down here now, and every time I've been down here I spoke to some of the regular syndicate members. They've all said that any of the fish that they've caught have been down in weight. And the next little section on my second trip is when I found out quite a lot of information about the fish in the lake and what had been going on, to be honest. So that was it for that first trip anyway. Nothing in the morning. I gave it as late as possible. Got back home just in time to take to go with my wife to take my daughter to her stage coaching classes. But yeah, that was it. So I returned the following Friday to completely different weather conditions. It absolutely hammered down when I first got there. I was absolutely drenched. Nothing I could do about it though, and it was just on and off. But when it did start raining, it was very heavy. Got down there, I decided to go in the same peg. One of the reasons, not because I'd seen anything, but one of the reasons was because one of the lads that I know, or I've seen previously in the past, really nice chap I got talking to, he was fishing the first part of the dam wall, and of course I'd put some bait in as down on the furthest point of this dam wall. I'd put some bait in the previous week, and I knew where the spots was, so I could get fishing as quick as possible, especially with the rain. So I fished 3 rods on the same spot this time. About 9 o'clock that evening, the lad that I'd spoken to down on the side of the dam wall, early at the start of the dam wall, he came walking down to me, woke me up, and said, "Any chance you can do some photos? I've managed to land a fish called the fully," for obvious reasons, but it's the oldest fish in the lake. A lot of the originals now, the big originals, have unfortunately died, and this is the one big original that's left in this lake that pretty much every single syndicate member wants to catch if they haven't already caught it, me included. He was absolutely buzzing. It was in lovely condition, 30 pounds on the nose, a fish that we'd been fishing for, trying to catch for years. So yeah, I took those photos for him. But yeah, and then nothing for me in the night, same in the morning, gave it as late as possible, but packed up a little bit early this time and walked down with my gear to the lad who caught this fish, and I sat there having a chat to him for a little bit, and he actually had another fish in the sling. He actually had a fish that we call 6 scale at, I think it was 26 pounds, another really nice fish. And the more I got talking to him, the more I found out about the other fish in the lake, that all of them were down in weight. He'd actually had 5 carp in the night in that one peg, down in the open in the mouth of a bay. He had 5 in the night, all 20-pound fish, but a couple of them been known to be a lot bigger in the past. That 6 scale, the one that I managed to take some photos of for him as well, that one being one of the fish that usually does a little bit bigger. So yeah, that was my second session. And then on to my third session. Thought I'd change it up a little bit this time, so I got down the lake, and it was absolutely even. I mean, there were 8 people, 8 carp anglers on the night that evening, which is something I've never heard of, not even in spring and summer when it's normally fishing really well. But still thought I'd give it a go. This time I decided to go a little bit further down the dam wall, a little bit closer to where this lad had the 5 the previous week. Found myself a nice little spot at 13, just over 13 wraps. Put a few spoms out there, a little bit of bait, and I also found a little spot just to the right of me, to the side, the back of some lily pads. Nice little clear spot. Could just hand out some boilies, some free offerings, which is exactly what I did. And I fished a simple wafter over the top of the Match the Hatch. Match the Hatch IQD rig down behind the lilies. So that night was a bit busier. Again, I was pestered by tench throughout the night on the baited area, but at midnight I did actually manage to land my 3rd fish of this mini campaign, so a nice 22-pound common. So managed to catch that on a boilie tipped with some corn, with a little piece of, well, it was a Match the Hatch wafter tipped with a chopped down wafter mainline pineapple pop-up. So I'll pop in a little video clip now of me holding up that fish and talking about how I caught that fish for you. So after blanking this last week, this common of just under £22 is a welcome addition to the mat. It's my third fish now of this succession of Friday nights that I've been doing. It's the first common of the 3 fish that I've had. It did feel good for a bite, to be quite honest, last night. I think we're up to, it's about 11 o'clock now. And that's the first one. I have had a tench, of course. I think they're gonna pester me the whole time that I'm doing these Friday nights. Yeah, lovely fish of just under £22 to grace the bank this evening. I'll quickly get a couple of snaps and pop this one back now. See if I can get the rods out accurately. There's plenty of lights on the outside of this lake, because there's a road just to the side. Street lights give you quite a lot of light, to be fair. And that brings me on to today, so my 4th session of this little mini campaign. It's another one like my first session where it's been warmer today. Spoke to a lad who's been fishing, who's actually managed to land a carp today. But he's been one of only 2 people fishing the lake, so I expected to get busy tomorrow morning. So I've come down here and I've decided to fish the same peg that I fished the previous week, where I landed that £22 common. So I'll leave you with my normal video clips now, and I'll keep you updated as I go on, and I'll talk to you about some of the slight tweaks that I've actually made this time in comparison to the last few weeks. So hopefully I can actually manage to land another 1 or 2 fish for you that aren't tench on my, what I'm going to call the final little session of this little mini campaign through autumn, before we start thinking about actually how I'm going to tackle it in the winter. Here we go, first one of the evening, my 4th night. It's 7:45 now, absolutely pitch black, and my right hand rod, so the rod that's just down by the lily pads, down close, is absolutely tore into life with a lovely £22.10. Yep, beautiful condition this one. So this one's just on a simple bottom bait wafter, match the hatch. Just sprinkled a few boilies out over the top of it. It's taken, what, maybe 3 hours, I'd say, before the first bite. Yeah, absolutely stunning fish. I'm going to get this one in as soon as I can, because I want to get that rod out ASAP, just in case there's a few fish mulling around in those margins. Hopefully I can nab another 1 or 2. So there we go, almost exactly an hour after resetting that rod down in the margin on the lily pads. It's gone again with this £20.8 mirror. I think, looking at the state of this fish's mouth, that this might be one of the fish that I talked about on one of my Park Lake journals from last year. One of the fish that was bought in from from a noddy pool. It's got a nasty little mark on the side of its face. Yeah, they brought in about 10, I think, 10-12 fish from a bit of a noddy pool that had been match fished for years, so the fish's mouths are a bit battered, so I think this is one of those. Never mind, I'll take it. £20.8, fish number 2. 2 fish in an hour. Let's get another one. Absolutely nothing in the night. Went really quiet after those 2 fish yesterday evening. I had 1 tench on one of the far rods over the top of bait. Other than that, nothing. Like I say, went really quiet. But that's it. That's it for my little mini autumn campaign. 4 nights, 5 fish. I can't complain. You know, I've learnt a lot about the lake, about the times that the fish feed, about the little spots that you tend to catch them at different times of the day. So roll on winter. I'll be doing the same kind of thing possibly over November and into December, and then again the same thing in January, hopefully. Really looking forward to it, to be honest. But yeah, nice little break now. Get my gear cleaned up, buy a few new bits and pieces ready for the winter, and I'll be good to go. Thanks for watching.